Welcome back to another edition of the Pagcast. I'm your host, Michael Pagani, joined alongside Blainville-Boisbriand Armada forward Alexey Kulikov. Alexey, welcome to the Pagcast. Thank you again for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
How have you been doing recently? How has practice been going? What's the situation like right now?
Right now, my team is currently in Rimouski, and I'm back home because I wasn't feeling great, and because it's 15 games left in the season before the playoffs. We decided to come down for a bit and not risk our chance to getting sick for like another player. So I'm staying home right now, but I'll be back for the Quebec game at home. So it's really nice for me.
What's the culture like there in Armada? Let's just talk about that because obviously in the QMJHL it's completely different than the OHL here because I'm in Toronto right now. But how have you liked the culture there?
I love it, absolutely love it, because it's a hard style of the game. It's always compete hard, play until the buzzer is going on, and be hard on every shift, and never pass by a guy, never turn away from the blocking shot. And for me, it's an amazing opportunity to play, and I love it.
Your most recent game was up against the Cape Breton. Unfortunately, you guys lost that game. What can the team do better heading into the final stretch before the playoffs?
Um, to be honest, after Christmas break, we've been doing much better. We start playing our style of hockey, let's say that, and that also give us impact. But before Cape Breton, we lost to a great team. It's Sherbrooke. It was a tough game for us, 6-1, and coming into Cape Breton game, I guess maybe we weren't tough enough on the other guys, so that cost us a lot of momentum, and we just give them a chance from the first minute, and they took that opportunity and they start playing amazing game. So we couldn't do anything, but we never were stopping ourselves. We were playing until the end. Yeah, somewhere the puck bounced. Somewhere is just it wasn't going in the net. So if that's cost us a game, but we're not stopping. What's the great thing about the hockey, that you are back in like 2 days and you are back in the game. So right now my team is gonna play like in an hour, so I'll be watching and cheering for the boys, waiting for the result because we all want to change it.
Well, let's talk about the Rimouski game. In the first couple meetings, you guys had Rimouski's number, and then in the last couple meetings, they've had your number. It's been that back and forth affair there this season. How difficult have you felt it has been going up against the Oceanic this year?
We played them on the preseason too. We played 2 games, and we actually made like a showcase. Not in the Rimouski, it was in Chandler. It's close to the ocean, so for us it was 11 hours bus ride. It was first like bus ride for me, 11 hours right away. It was kind of tough, but we came there. We had 2 days of practicing, team building. We absolutely love it. We played the game, the first game. I don't remember exactly the score, but I think that we lost the first game, and it was like it was always close games against them. The second game, we played really good. I had my first fight out there against Brunette. I still remember it like it was yesterday. And we went to the overtime, and then we lost in the shootouts against them. But after that, we had our third game of the season against them, and it was my first game in the QMJMHL, and I scored my first goal against them in Rimouski. And I remember it was a 5-0 game. The second game was 5-1, so that weekend for them was tough. But then they came back in our house and they showed some hockey too. But I wasn't playing the second game because of the situation just that happened at that day. Was guy from the OHL, and I wasn't playing, but I was watching the game, and they just came back knowing that they would want to show us that 5-1 and 5-0 was the score that they didn't want to do. But today is like a game 7 for us. It's who win. He's gonna be better, I guess. So we'll see it today. But Rimouski is always a tough team to play against. They tough. They want to win all the time, and everybody know that.
What was that first like for you? What was that first fight for you like? Because obviously that's such a shocking moment.
Uh, I still don't remember it. Don't know exactly what happened, but I remember that some guy touches our goalie with the stick. He poke check him, and 3 guys from our team went on him, and we start like cross checking him, and I see the guy literally start grabbing me and dropping the gloves, and that's my I'm like, okay, I have to do that.
Yeah, exactly. You had no
No,
opportunity to leave. You're just kind of sucked into the fight.
yeah, there was no chance at all. No chance at all.
Getting into your story a bit, who was your biggest influence to get into hockey?
It was obviously some members of my family. It was my grandpa and my father that they pushed me in that sport, and I like it right away. So for me, it was I started playing hockey at 3 years old, and you can't actually play in the team before 5, but I was practicing with the older guys, and like day by day I was trying to skate, shoot a puck, and after that it's just came up in the game. At 5 years old I started playing for my hometown team back in Russia, and that was my start.
Was there a player growing up who you wanted to model your game after?
Yeah, it was actually Panarin, but I used to switch a lot of guys. I used to watch growing up watching Malkin, but then I started chasing Panarin. Look what he's kind of do all that stuff, and after that, maybe like 2 years ago, I start focusing on myself, start creating some things from my head, and don't chase anybody. And I guess that worked for me a bit because I start thinking more about how I want to play, not how I want to chase somebody playing.
You mentioned, growing up, kind of idolizing Artemi Panarin. With you being Russian, was it difficult to stream NHL games at all? Did you become a big KHL fan? What was your kind of, I guess, growing up factor for you there?
Obviously, it was a KHL at that moment. I was a kid. I was playing for the team that have a KHL team, and I was watching almost every KHL game at our home. So for me, it was like a moment of like just oh my god, it's amazing hockey. And growing up, still continue following KHL. I'm still into it. Like to watch the scores and all that stuff. So for me, it's normal. But I start following NHL before I moved to Canada, and I was just no, I probably as soon as Panarin left there, and I start chasing NHL.
Obviously, you mentioned you kind of followed along the NHL when Panarin left the KHL. So I assume that you were a big Blackhawks fan at the time when he left the KHL for the NHL.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I don't know. I'm still have a Blackhawks hat at home back in Russia, but yeah, I was chasing that team, liking the duo Panarin and Kane. It was amazing for me. So I was like really cheering for them.
You played on the Markham Majors in 2019-20. How did that team help with your development?
Uh, it was a good team for me. Just I used to play. I used to it was my first team that I started playing when I came in Canada. It was Markham Majors, but it was U12, and then coming back in the U16 for playing back to Markham Majors for me was amazing. I knew this. I knew some guys there. Somebody I used to go to school with. Somebody I used to play my first year there. So for me, it was nice. Maybe I wasn't playing that much because of my like abilities at that time, but it gave me a good boost. Give me a good explanation of the AAA U16 hockey because it's amazing. Uh, in my year, there's a lot of draft picks who went to the NHL right now, who I used to play against. So for me, it was an amazing time getting know what is hockey close to the OHL is. Not OHL, but close to it.
Exactly. And, that's always the right, mindset to have, is to kind of try and simulate that kind of level, right?
Yeah, yeah.
How did you find out about the pandemic canceling the rest of that kind of season? Because that was when the pandemic took effect, was in that 2019-20 year.
Yeah. It was just a moment of are we getting in the OHL Cup or not? And we lost the playoffs before that. In the first round, we lost to Canadians, Toronto Junior Canadians, and then there was games for making the OHL Cup. And how I know we are about to make it, but the season got canceled, and we just have to. I went back home right away, started getting just training outside. But growing up, I used to watch OHL Cup, and I was like dreaming to play there. And especially when Markham Majors finally made the playoffs, 2004 year, they made the playoffs for the first time in their life in U16, and that's the moment of the OHL Cup. And we were getting ready, but it didn't work for us. We just have to accept that and continue practicing, getting ready for the new opportunities.
Since you're from Russia, did you have any worries about traveling back home?
No, not really. I'm a student everywhere here and there, so there's not a big problem for me. I just maybe sometimes I'm not gonna go back in Russia December because we don't have that much time. It was only 7 days for us, so I didn't had that much time to go on a Christmas break. But yeah, there's not that much problem.
And I'm really sorry that you didn't get to live out your dream with the OHL Cup. I know that really stinks and it sucks. So,
Yeah,
yeah, it is what it is, though. Thankfully, we're in better times, though, right?
yeah.
The following season, you played in the U18 Russian League. Was that because you couldn't find? Was that because you could find ice back home in Russia? Because I know that in Ontario, most rinks and facilities were closed because of the pandemic.
Yeah, I came back in Canada after pandemic in September, and I was waiting for the season. I was studying here and practicing how we can. It was awful at that time. You just have to change on a chair outside somewhere. It was cold. It was like that stuff, but I was still waiting for the season, and probably in December they told me that probably season is not gonna start. So I called my coach and my friends at that team, asking, "Are you guys playing?" They said, "Yeah, we're gonna start the our league like in a couple of weeks. So what's the problem?" I said I want to join, and I went back to Russia and played there. I also went to the junior team there after. I spent like 2 months with them, but then I came back in Canada for the U18 season.
And what was that kind of, I guess, what was the biggest difference there between the Russian ice surface and the Canadian ice surface that you found out?
Um, the different lane of the ice in Canada, it's smaller. The game is a bit faster, and the hits are different. In Russia, you have to, and that the kids level, you have to first of all go on pack and then hit the guy. But in Canada, nobody cares about that. You just hit the guy, and for me, it's the main thing. When I can't hit, it's not something, not my game. So it was really tough for me just adapting in the Russian game. So I didn't have the best season. I was just probably did something, but not a lot. And now I'm just lucky that I still continue playing in Canada, and that's the best thing for me right now.
Last season, you played in 5 games in the OJHL with the Markham Royals. How did that prepare you for the QMJHL?
Yeah, it obviously gave me some understanding of the dressing room, the junior dressing room, junior practices, the way it works, the way people act, the games. It's obviously give me some boost to prepare myself for the camps and for the next season, because I also went to the 67th development camp for one day. It was just a game. It was me just understand how the campus work, and how what's the level of guys there, and it was interesting to participate in that too.
It seemed like all of that work has really, built up to you playing in the Q this season, and it's just impressive to see that all that hard work pay off for you.
Yeah, it was a really great moment for me, because I came in the camp. I'm not drafted here. I'm just a free agent who came from Ontario to Quebec, and there was 39 guys, 3 spots on the team, and 2 forward spots. So first round, the pick of 06 made it, and I made it, and the other defense made it. So it was really really fun.
Give yourself a pat on the back for that. Like, that is a huge props to you. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
it was really tough, because we had like 4 games in no, we had 6 games in 4 days. We had like 3 practices or something like that. I had my birthday, my 18th birthday was on the camp, so it was another time to celebrate. I was just going at it every day, and then they told me, okay, you made the main camp, but it's still day by day. Then after main camp, they said, okay, yeah, you are staying with us. I said, it's amazing.
What was that day like for you when you did get the phone call, the announcement that you did make the main team?
Yeah, I just came from the practice because it was like 2 weeks after main camp. I was still practicing with the team, but they didn't tell me I'm staying or not. And it was just a regular day, and we had a um, team lunch, and there was supposed to be a team captain named. So I was just at home after the practice, and my coach from Toronto called me and said, okay, they called me and said, yeah, you're staying in. I'm like, no way. It was just an emotional moment. So I have to call everybody. At that time, call my parents, call my family, and it was good. And then on the team dinner, coach and general manager came up to me and said, okay, yeah, you made the team, congratulations, all that stuff. And they said you have to work hard. And yeah, it was an amazing moment.
How have you been enjoying your first season in the Q?
Oh, I'm enjoying it, like from the first game until now. Every game I'm enjoying it. It's amazing. Playing all over the Canada, playing in Quebec City, it was amazing. 12,000 people out there. Playing in Halifax, 9,000 people scoring in Halifax. It was a great moment for me. Um, I can name every arena probably that give me some emotions out there. It's amazing. I love it.
Let's talk about the season. Armada is tied with Drummondville at the time of this recording for 6th in the West Division. What do you like about how your team has played so far this season?
Obviously, it's not that we something want to have before the season. We want to be in top four, so we're gonna have a home advantage. We're still fighting for that place, and I know we are still able to do that. That's our goal. It's never be satisfied with what you have right now. There is at least in the first place. But if you're in the first place, that means you have to win a cup, win a Memorial Cup. So for us, it's never be satisfied, and work, always work.
I just have a quick fire round of questions before we end off this interview here. Starting off with, what is your favorite vacation spot?
Favorite vacation spot is probably back home in Russia.
Oh yeah, for sure. Have to go back home, right?
Yeah.
Favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show? I'm actually not a big TV fan. I rather watch some YouTube, but I actually like the Family Guy. It's kind of funny. I like to watch them.
A lot of my friends have said Family Guy. I'm a big Simpsons guy, but I do respect that.
Yeah, I like Simpson too, but the Family Guy, I find it so funny.
You mentioned that a lot of QMJ chill arenas have given, a lot of good atmosphere. Do you have a favorite one?
A favorite one?
Yeah, favorite QMJ chill arena.
It was a best game for me because it was 9,000 people watching, and it was a tight game. We lost in the shootouts, and I scored the second goal of our team, made some advantage before that. It was fun. I rather pick the Halifax arena.
Well, Halifax also hosted the World Juniors as well, right?
Yeah, it was also the moment I was thinking before the game. No way, I'm playing on a junior arena. It was like, oh my god, it was amazing.
How is there one arena that you really just don't like, whether it's the travel or either the arena itself?
Actually, no. It's everything is interesting. Everything, but the hardest one, it's a Becamo.
Okay, yeah.
We have to go on a boat there, and I think that's the hardest trip for us. But no, I like every arena. It's a great place to travel.
Have you played in any teddy bear toss games this year?
Yeah, we played. We host our teddy bear toss, and it was against St. John's. We played two games against St. John's, and it was the first game. And I guess in 2 days we went to the Maritimes, and it was the St. John's game. And I still remember that Joe Fashon scored the goal in the second period. And it was a lot of teddy bears there. I like it.
I mean, being you probably haven't seen anything close to that tradition, right?
Never.
It's honestly one of my favorite traditions ever is the teddy bear toss.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the teddy bear toss and the cancer night. It was amazing too. I still have a jersey at home with my number, the pink jersey. It's an amazing moment. I love that game.
So what was your reaction like when you just saw thousands of teddy bears just rain down from the stands? You must have been so shocked.
Oh yeah, it was like it was actually fun because I see somebody's like trying to toss a big teddy. I'm like, okay, I need to go help them. Then we were picking up the bears from there. It was fun. It was really fun. You just see the bears are flying. It was like, no way, it's amazing moment.
My last question to you before we end off this interview is, do you have any advice for younger hockey players?
Just work all the time. Never stop believing in yourself, and just be positive, but never be satisfied with your thing. You always can do better.
I'd like to thank again Alexey Kulikov for joining me on today's Pagcast. Thank you again, Alexey.
Thank you very much for having me.